It's the biggest race that you would want to win. Yeah. So for people with 10 or 15 horses in training, that's a winning lottery ticket. That's Willy Wonka's golden ticket, that is.
I mean, I know you lot got to put him on the list because he's William Hill ambassador and all that, but it's just a bit boring.
You're sat in his seat right now.
I mean,
you jacked him off.
Was it Ginger McCain's words, "A woman will never ride the winner of the Grand National"? It's not that long ago.
Hello and welcome to Inside Track, the debate brought to you by William Hill. My name is Kate Tracy and joining me are three familiar faces. To my left, Barry Geraghty, Matty Batchelor and Jane Mangan. Now, we've got another really special episode to bring you because on this one, we're going to rank our top 5 modern Grand National wins. So, the races I want to give you are, of course, Sir AP McCoy finally winning the race at their 15th attempt on Don't Push It in 2010. Rachael Blackmore becoming the first woman to win the race in 2021. Monmouth in 2009, I should say, becoming the first 100-to-1 winner since Foynaven. Amberley House giving Red Rum's legendary trainer, of course, Ginger McCain, a 4th win in the race. And Neptune Collonges in 2012, the closest ever Grand National finish by a nose from Sunny Hill Boy. So 5 really big ones to go at then. You've got your whiteboards. Take it away. Right, guys. Have you all got your list finalised? Again, the big reveal in 3, 2, 1. Oh, okay. There's a lot of editing going on in here as well, with underlines, with extra footnotes to this also. But the added addition, of course, it goes without saying, Monty's pass. Barry, I can't even see your list, but I'm imagining he's going to be on there. Oh, he's down at number 5. Though.
Well, it's not all about me, and it's not all about Jane.
Jane is slightly
we're being humble.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't put him at the top,
yeah,
but like
3.
he was
was
our
top.
most important, whatever about Blackmore. But we just wanted to make sure he was mentioned.
you should have put him at the top.
You're right.
Yeah, you should change that.
Yeah,
Put him at
quickly,
the top.
do a switch around there. He's been underlined at least, though, Jane, but I feel that now we have the proper personal connection then for Monty's pass in this one. So, Jane, do you want to kick us off with Monty's?
Yeah, look, he was a horse that we really shouldn't have had. He was sent to us to Point and Sell, failed the vet. That's how he ended up staying with us. Tried loads of jockeys to ride him. Eventually, we found one that worked with him. I vaguely remember it. I was very small. I think I was 8 when he won the National, and Barry had a choice to make on the day of which to ride. He can tell you about that, but he's one of those horses that, like, for generations of people who work with horses, to win the National, that was our family, achieving a lifetime ambition. And Barry's forever on our wall, and what a handsome chap to be looking at every day.
We're talking about Monty's before we say anything. It was teed
He's
up
on
for
my
you
wall
to
too. Yeah, he's on my wall.
My mum
was getting a big nose.
My mum used to ride him every day at home. My dad trained him. Obviously, it's just such a special. It's the biggest race that you would want to win. Yeah. So for people with 10 or 15 horses in training, that's a winning lottery ticket. That's Willy Wonka's golden ticket. That is
completely. And it wasn't it then for Monty's? I mean, I still remember I was just getting into racing at that exact time then of my life as well.
Then, were you?
I think I was, actually. Yes, I think I was. How convenient.
Which I was. 28, probably.
But no, still old enough to remember it at least, Barry. So that's a positive sign itself. But talk us through that day.
Oh, magic! Absolutely. No, I have him at number 5 because it was the day for me and it was the day for Jane and her family and his owners. But I suppose for racing, it's easy to put Rachel and AP and towards the top. But he was dynamite. His jumping was electric. He'd been second the year before in the Topham and just lacked the pace for the race. But he'd also been to Cheltenham too, and that slightly took the edge off him. So that's what the proximity of the festival, the Cheltenham Festival, and Aintree it has an effect on horse performance. But on the day he was brilliant. I had won the Old William Hill. I'd won the Old William Hill on You'll Never Walk Alone at that year's festival, and he wasn't a definite runner. Now I'd committed to Monty's pass at that stage, and then You'll Never Walk Alone, it was felt he'd take his chance and he was going to run it. So it was a difficult call.
Did you wobble?
Did I wobble? Well, Jen, partial to the odd wobble, am I? It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, but I stuck with Monty's. And
what was the deciding factor in that?
his experience. He'd been there the year before. I suppose I was part of the whole, the backstory to it, as in this was the plan from the previous year. He didn't go to Cheltenham that year, the year he won it. So this was planned from the year before. So I was part of it. Mike Futter, who was one of the main members of the syndicate, he had a big punt on to win $1 million. So like it was well teed up from a long way out. So no, it was magic. And you don't, in your dreams, you dream of winning a race like the Grand National, like, and it's hard fought and it's battles and everything. But actually, he was a breeze the whole way around. He never touched a twig. The only thing Jimmy asked me to do on Paddy Kiley's advice, who was a former jockey, who got the same advice from Pat Taff years before him, was don't be looking for big jumps when you're going on an entry. Sit quiet, let your horse pop. Don't be looking for 1, 2, 3, firing them at it. And
I think the words were, the fences are big enough, don't make them bigger.
Was that it? Okay.
That's what Paddy Kiley always said. The fences in Aintree are big enough, don't make them bigger.
Well, I went to the fourth last for the circuit to go, and Paddy's words are going out of my head that stage. I'm looking for a big one at the ditch. So 1, 2, 3, I went for it. Here we go. Monty's stuck in another stride. Up he popped, never touched a twig, and I'm going, okay, right, snapping, and let's just leave this head do his own thing. And he was absolutely dynamite. So he breezed it, absolutely breezed it.
Yeah,
it was a dream. Yeah,
just
magic
the best spin. You can imagine then.
Every winner of the National is special. It's just to be associated with one is unique.
Very much so, yeah. I mean, we can only dream of that, to be fair, Matty, can't we, of being associated to one. I think we've had to take that out, though, and we've gone with the same approach of our number one, Rachael Blackmore, then becoming the first woman to win it on Manila Times. I mean, for you, what is the significance of that?
I just think it's done so much for our sport. Put it in the spotlight more, and it's just proven anyone can. What sex you are doesn't really matter. She's just a phenomenal jockey. As was Jane.
Now who's Pinocchio?
Who's adding to now? But
no, I thought just what it's done for our sport. I think that's why I've put it at the top for me.
Yeah. Completely. Like I say, she just, I mean, again, we talk about us growing up and things. I mean, as I say, I was only getting into racing at the time of Monty's past winning, but my lifetime dream was to be the first woman to win the Grand National. That dream obviously was soon realised it was a fantasy. Oh, there's still time. There's still time, Barry, I'm sure. But that was always, the ultimate dream. I quickly realised that was completely unattainable for me. But to see Rachael do it, there's so much joy that came from it. And what a phenomenal season she had as well in 2021. She had won the Ryanair on Allaho. She had won the Champion Hurdle on Honeysuckle. That brilliant, if not probably devastating at the same time, second on a Plutard in the Gold Cup as well. I mean, Rachael is just, she's in a whole different stratosphere of what she's achieved in her career.
Yeah, but I did want to mention, so obviously the horses Miller Times, I wanted to mention Henry as well, because that year he completed an unbelievable sequence of the Champion Hurdle with Honey, the Gold Cup with Manila Indo, the Champion Chase, put the kettle on, and to have the first two home. Didn't he have Balco de Flo finish second that year?
First two in the Gold Cup as well.
And the first two in the Gold Cup. Like, that probably gets overshadowed by the awesomeness of Rachael, but they were just such a team. They are such a team. But yeah, I think you're into fairy tale Disneyland world to think, was it Ginger McCain's words, a woman will never ride the winner of the Grand National? It's not that long ago. So to see somebody do it in our lifetime and to know that it can be done.
Exactly. And Katie Walsh came so close on a few occasions then. Seabass.
And Nina Carberry got around, and Carrie, and there's like loads of...
Rosemary Henderson, anyone remember that? Fiddler's Pike. First woman to get round, finished sixth.
Nicely done. Very nice. What year are we talking?
That's why he's here.
Were you 38 then?
We're adding the years to it.
Fiddler's Pike, I can't remember what year Rosemary Henderson.
Did you try and get the riding him as well?
Did you give Rosemary a bit of advice on...
I had no advice to give.
On how to get around.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you know what it was as well? It was the Billie Jean King. It was the reach that race had, and it put racing. This was just around COVID. Was it during COVID?
Just after.
And I just remember saying to the ITV team, I'm so jealous because that's never going to happen again. A girl is never going to be the first person to do that again.
Yeah.
It was history.
It was literally history before our eyes, and for Rachel as well to do it. So I just feel that it was so fitting that it was Rachel too, because she felt like she broke even more barriers than anyone had previously been able to.
Absolutely. She had 6 winners that year's Cheltenham Festival.
Yeah.
Second in the Gold Cup, and you could see after laying the Gold Cup that, that really killed her. It did, yeah. But then came back the following year and won the Gold Cup on that retired. So, no, she's been phenomenal. And she's a great person. Not alone is she a great ambassador for the sport, she is a great person behind the scene as well. So no, she's been brilliant. And to see her then, she's in the Royal Box every year in Wimbledon. I'm a little bit jealous of that.
I know Brian Hayes getting the call up as well, then to go as her +1, which is fantastic to see. I love that so much. But we've got her as number 1. Barry, where have you got Rachael Black? You've got her as number 1 as well. Okay, there you go.
We actually agree.
We finally agree. Now, Batch, you've got Ginger McCain, obviously, then for Amberley House in second here. Is that the nostalgia to do with Red Rum, or?
Yeah, just 4 winners, to train 4 winners. Obviously, Amberley House ridden by Graham Lee.
Yeah.
I just think, I mean, I see you all put AP second, but I mean, I know you lot got to put him on the list because he's William Hill ambassador and all that, but it's just a bit boring.
You're sat in his seat right now.
I mean,
you jacked him off.
Absolutely, yeah. Wouldn't be the first time, to be fair. But yeah, I just think winning 4 times as a trainer, it's a great achievement. And then obviously Tredders, again, it's, for me, national can change careers. Apart from getting a new set of teeth, which was a right bonus because you had some right dodgy ones.
Claire Boulding nicely pointed out post-race.
Yeah. So he got that, and it did help his career. He pushed him on, and he got a lot more rides from it and more success. And Daryl, I mean, I think Daryl, if he'd have lost that photograph, I tried to think where he'd have been. He's very passionate, very emotional.
Heart on his sleeve, complete character.
And obviously I've never seen someone, obviously had the Paul Nicholls job, and I just don't think the Paul Nicholls job suited him.
What, for the mental aspect?
He used to beat himself up a lot, Barry, didn't he? He was...
And his rivals.
Yeah. He just, you needed someone like a Ruby or a Harry Cobden who sort of had that attitude that they didn't really give a monkey. They did, but the attitude...
Invincibility.
Yeah, they just...
And why is that? Is that pressure directly from a trainer?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Expectations.
But
your own expectations are... You're trying to match the trainer's expectations and the owners, and when things aren't working out, it's... The messenger gets shot, and then the messenger's
I think you can see people ride a lot different, and Daryl will be one of them, and I'd put my head on the line and say, even when Sammy rode for Paul Nicholls, you saw a difference in their riding, from riding for Nigel, his dad, and
likewise, Daryl riding for Simon Muneer and Isaac Swade. Yeah, he's better under less intensity, and you could say the same for Sam. Sam is a brilliant jockey.
Absolutely,
but it sits more comfortably riding for his dad. Yeah, it's a good point.
That's interesting. So, do you feel like that? Did you notice riding for different trainers, you rode differently?
I rode differently because they want their horses ridden differently,
rather than the pressures or external things that were put onto you.
Yeah, it was probably a bit too selfish to worry about their
He was
concerns.
cool as a cucumber, very.
Nah, pressure didn't matter to him.
No, he didn't. Well, not at all.
Yeah, but I never...
He didn't show it anyway.
Yeah, no, it didn't... My concern was my concern.
Yeah.
And, I'm obviously trying to win it for me, but win it for them. But if it doesn't work out for me, it doesn't work out for them. But do your own personal best. You're working on how they want it, how they might want it done, but that mightn't necessarily be the way to do it. So you might just have to write your own script at times. So
they do employ you to do the job ultimately, and if they're not happy with that, well, then that was their choice anyway. Exactly.
What's the old saying again, that a good jockey doesn't need instructions and a bad one won't follow them anyway. Exactly. And it's so true, isn't it, then, about them. So Batch has gone with the jockey's angle then for narrowing down his list in this one. But I guess, Jane, in terms of AP, now you've got him second when he finally got the job done on Don't Push It. And we talk about the mental struggles, even for Sir AP. Surely that must have been starting to play on his mind, that the biggest race of them all was still eluding him.
Yeah, I'd say it was just annoying him. You know, he had won everything else, 20 championships and all that. It would have been disappointing to retire without one of probably the most famous race of all. I was there. That was the first year I went. My dad had a runner and he fell at the first. So I remember watching AP's celebrations and he was crying and I was crying for a whole different reason. But I just thought it was, I suppose, important for him to be remembered as one of the greatest of all time. 20 championships, Gold Cups, champion hurdles. The Grand National is one of those criteria that you want to list.
He didn't win a Hennessy though, Baz.
The one that got away, the race that got away. Only the best of them could have done that, though. But it was almost like Barry. It was almost like Frankie Dettori with the Derby on the flat, where you just thought, is he actually going to get this done? Of course, he did then unauthorised in 2007. But for AP to finally, and after all those dramatic exits on the likes of Clan Royal,
like Jonjo not winning, a Grand National is an omission.
Yeah, but that's part of the story too, and JP. So there was more than, like, AP was the one. It was a bit like Jane mentioned earlier, like Rachael stole the limelight from Henry, if you like, in her win, and it was amazing. But you could say the same for AP with Jonjo and JP, because they were two of the men who'd waited a long time, and they probably had more darts thrown at the Grand National than he had. So that was a massive one. But for me, that's why I like Jane have them at the top, because they were the two that caught the public more than anyone. And for AP to eventually do it, I was fourth on Big Fella Tanks, had a great run, and he sailed past me. I think after the second last, it was away he went. But it was putting the racing on the front pages again for the right reasons. It caught a bigger audience.
And he knew how to celebrate.
Yes.
He didn't miss it when he crossed the line.
No.
Oh, goodness. It was just an explosion of just relief, like saying the frustration of the race for how many years.
Yeah, in fairness to him, he didn't show the frustration. And I don't think he did anything in his previous attempts that, you know, were motivated for the wrong reasons, as in the frustration showed.
He was a bit unlucky on Clan Royal.
He was very unlucky on Clan Royal
How
at
many
Beechers.
lengths clear then was he? Saying to get carried out.
Now, the only thing is, if you're that far clear at Beechers, you're going to do well to be that far clear at the 9.
True.
You know, you pay a price, so who knows? But Clan Royal was unlucky himself then with before Liam Cooper as well.
Yeah.
So it's but that's the national, and then that's the beauty of as well when you bring in Monmouth. Obviously, Tredders rode him and was brilliant for him. But 100 to 1 shot, the national can be won by anything.
So Aidan Coleman picked something else.
Yeah, but she had a shorter priced.
Yes.
And he was
So
always going
to show when you get to Liverpool, that track can light up a horse. And he was a different proposition.
But Tredders was a national jockey. He was a real old school. You know, if you had a dodgy jumper, novice, something that no one wanted to ride, Tredders would be a man who
for a small fellow, he rode with a bit of leg, didn't he?
He did.
He rode.
He did. He was, to me,
and he rode on the flat as well. We both rode on the flat, but every time he went jumping, he always rode with a...
He didn't ride over a jump like someone who'd ridden on the flat.
No.
He was a proper old school. So I'd say he was a benefit to the horse. But as I say, 100 to 1 is... it's magic.
And so who's to say that if someone else had been riding Monmouth that year that he still would have won? Was it that Liam Treadwell was the bit of a catalyst for that horse?
He played a massive part, but if you watch Rachel's win in the race, she just came off the inside.
Sidestepping trouble.
But it's sliding
Any
doors.
second now.
Any second now crashes straight into the horse at the back, and he finishes second. So it potentially cost him the race. But that's it. The luck is in the choices you make as much as anything. But you'd need a crystal ball to know, are you doing the right thing?
Yeah.
So it's no.
I think another horse is not on the list, but there was talk of Pinot de Rey he wasn't the best jumper, and there was talk about him not getting round. And Daryl, I think, chose something else, and then Lash got on him, who Leighton Aspel I thought was awesome. I never thought I always thought he deserved a good job. I thought he was in the top 10 in my mind. He was just very, very natural, and I think he won that on Pinot de Rey because he was so good.
The jockey that won it again there.
Yeah.
But you've all just mentioned it there about choices of jockeys then on horses and the sliding doors of the race itself. And I guess then for me, that's why I've got Neptune Collonges as bottom, because for all of these successes, there's someone who's going to have some sort of hardships, or even Sir AP McCoy, you finishing 4th in the race that year. Obviously, it wasn't to your benefit seeing him going and seeing that. But the reason why I've got Neptune at the bottom, for all it was an enthralling finish to the race. But my thought, as much as I think about Neptune, is with Richie McClernon on Sunny Hill Boy.
Snap.
I think that took him a long time to get over.
Well,
and how could it not?
It was a tough one. And Richie's a great fella. I'd be a big fan of Richie, so that's probably part of the reason why I was happy to take Neptune out. Obviously, Jane added an extra one to her list, but I stuck with the 5. It was a tough one for Richie. Great rider, brilliant fella. It's obviously brilliant for Daryl, brilliant for Paul Nicholls.
One of those instances where he didn't deserve to lose.
No.
Yeah, you would have
Not
taken
that anybody
it.
does, but that win also sealed the Trainers' Championship for Paul Nicholls that year. It was all very dramatic.
Is it right that one of them stuck to the Pro Cush rules and one didn't? I think that's why. I think Daryl maybe gone over, but
That rings a
Richie.
bell now.
I think Richie sort of stuck within the rules, and that sort. I think that played on it. I'm sure that's why that's come up in my head.
It's even more cutting then.
I think Daryl went over.
Striking from the list completely
so,
now for Neptune. Put Monty's in there instead now instead of Neptune's as a result of
the
that.
AP thing with me, I've put him down. It's because I just think the others it helped their career more define. Whereas AP, a bit like Scudamore. Peter Scudamore didn't win a national, but he was still champion jockey. He's still known as one of the greats. I don't think it would define AP if he didn't win one or he did win one. Only in his own head.
Which
That's
is
for me.
Yeah, which is enough to be fair in
There's
itself.
enough in his own head,
is-
but that's why I've put him.
Yeah.
Because I think the others meant.
That's the thing, the sentimentality. And just as a final point there, because Patch, I know that you've obviously got then the Amberley House factor in at number 2 and then Monmouth as number 3 there. So we're looking at these races, obviously in the past and their previous significance, but in the modern day significance, Graham Lee riding Amberley House to success, Liam Treadwell with Monmouth. There seems to be a lot of, even nowadays, significance then in the subsequent events.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's why I've put them so high up, because of things that have gone on since they've won them races. So it's in the forefront of your mind and you're thinking of them. So it defines where they are. And I was good mates with Tredders, and we rode on the flat, and like he was down from our way, down Sussex way, and I was just in shock really. It was for someone I'd never expected what had happened, and it was horrible time.
It really was, wasn't it? Completely, like you say, for everyone in racing, his friends and family, but something that is going to transcend beyond everything else then is the fact that he won the biggest race of them all. That's what he'll be remembered for, more so than anything else. And what a fantastic ride Liam Treadwell gave Monmouth there as well. And as you say, Graham Lee very much in our thoughts, and of course riding Amberley House to success, and again such a wonderful ride there also. But I think we've got our list pretty much compiled in terms of our recent Grand National modern day winners, where we're going to go with Rachael Blackmore as we finally agree. So we're going to make the most of this opportunity. Rachael Blackmore then at the head of it as the best modern day winner of the race. And then we've got a real mix here. So I think we're going to have to go with AP then in second, and the
You
rest
give him the
of
full
them.
title, so we better
Sir
throw
AP.
your board for
I
this
keep
one.
denighting him. What does that mean? Do I get sent to the tower or something if I keep denighting him? I'm not entirely
Well,
sure.
I've denighted him.
Is that
You
a
have
word?
completely.
Is D-night a word?
It is now. I'm going to make it one from now on because I've done it enough times.
Stripping him of his title.
Stripping him
I've
of his
denied him.
title.
I've put him down at 5. What trouble?
Exactly, yeah,
I'm
you
gonna
are
be
definitely being sent
I'm going
to the tower.
to be beheaded, I expect.
That's it, right. Brass Batch gets himself into all sorts of trouble then. We've sort of compiled our list then for the top 5 modern day Grand National notable successes. Have we got it right though? Let us know in the comments section below. But again, a big thank you to the team for all of their work and their thoughts there as ever. Big thank you to you for watching. Do make sure you stay tuned because we still have so much more content coming your way on Inside Track the Debate, brought to you by William Hill. Well, thank you so much for watching Inside Track the Debate, brought to you by William Hill. If you'd like to go back and look at our top 5 Grand National horses then for the 2024 renewal of the Grand National and our predictions, make sure to click the link in the video. 18 plus, please remember to gamble responsibly.